We had oh yeah too. Right, I completely missed over it. 4th of July. Yeah, we just had 4th of July pass, which I gotta say is one of my favorite holidays because I've always been a very big history buff, especially with American history. And it's when I grew up as a kid, I hated the idea of America, and I didn't like it at all. And I was just an angry kid because the where I came from and the background I lived in. But as I got older, and then in my once I joined high school, that's when I started reading, and I couldn't help but fall in love with our country because I read John Adams' American Revolution. I've learned so much about our country. Like, for example, John Adams was fluent in Latin and got into Harvard by age 15. John Hancock purposely wrote his name to be the biggest on the Declaration of Independence as a point to Great Britain to stand out. Samuel Adams was an absolute failure in almost everything that he did. The only business that was successful that he had was the one that he got from his dad, which was the beer company. That was the only one he was able to maintain. But his success, what came from it came from his way with words, how he was able to wow the crowd, how he was able to articulate and present himself and just sway people and just like captivate them. And it just goes to show in America, no matter what, you could be a failure at everything, but there will always be something you could succeed at. And you just got to stick your nose to the grind, work for it, and just, it's everybody has something that they could succeed at, hands down. And you just got to figure out what that niche is for you. What else? We didn't even declare independence on July 4th. It was actually on July 2nd. That's an interesting fact for you guys. John Adams' American Revolution by Catherine Bowen actually pulled a letter from was able to get permission to access a letter from like the Congressional Library for the federal government. And in there's actually a letter from John Adams to his wife where it was when he told his wife that we officially declared independence. And in the letter, what had happened is that he accidentally post dated it for the 4th when it would arrive to his wife. But we actually declared it on the 2nd, and he should have put July 2nd on there. But once it got to his wife, and then once word spread that we declared independence and they saw the date, it just stuck from there. And plus, too, 4th of July sounds a lot better than the 2nd of July, too. It just rolls off the tongue better. But no, that's another interesting fact. Even another one. George Washington was a savage. He was a savage, hands down. And I say that because keep in mind, during the American Revolution, he didn't have an actual army. He didn't have actual soldiers. Maybe some, yeah, but otherwise, his entire army was just based off of common Joes, just like me, you, and just like everybody else. Farmers, merchants, tradesmen, fishermen, just gardeners, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of people that have never had any type of experience in warfare or military or anything, period. This was the army he had to work with. During this time, there was constant shortages on food, water, ammunition, guns, all kinds of supplies, including camping gears. Just because since we were cut off from Great Britain was also cutting off our resources from other countries as well that we were allied with and that they were against. And so George Washington was always limited on supplies, but he also had an issue that these soldiers, they would steal food, they would steal water, they would steal medicine, they would steal ammunition, they would steal guns, they would abandon their post. And if you're a part of a military family, if you've ever been in military or anything like that, you know first off that when you're in an actual conflict and your actual state of war, there's, say for example, there's 3 of you and you're posted up and there's gunshots, there's just entire just open warfare happening right in front of you. If 1 or 2 of those guys bailed, well, guess what? You are now by yourself in open conflict and you could guaranteed die. And that's what kept on happening during the American Revolution with all these soldiers that was abandoning their post. It was causing everybody else to die, to suffer from famine, to get dysentery, to end up having no sources to defend themselves or to protect themselves from the natural weather of the northeastern part of our country, which is fucking brutal, cold, snowy, rainy, and all kinds of storms from the ocean. And so George Washington literally had no choice but to issue out orders that if anybody is caught stealing anything at all or abandoning their posts, they are to be shot on sight. That's how bad it was. And I don't say that as a mean to be like he was a cruel dictator or a tyrant to it, but that's how bad it was. until you've actually been in the military. And I'm not saying I've been in the military either. I've known and talked and heard so many stories from all kinds of people from all walks of life that have served and all kinds of stuff. But you need reliable soldiers, and people stealing and fleeing can lose the war entirely, and that just we wouldn't have anything that we have today. But yeah, that was, and then history always kind of says that we won the revolution by divine intervention. And the reason why I'm explaining that is because of these exact issues I was listing. Um, Britain was actually winning a majority of the fights. They were constantly like winning over territory and causing the colonists to retreat out of Boston, out of New York, and all that stuff. And we were constantly on the losing end. But for some reason, every single time Great Britain had the upper hand and it seemed like all hope was lost, there would be this freak weather storm or like this natural disaster or something like that that would just come in and sweep away the British. It would just cut out all their supply sources. It would just kill off their people with sickness, disease, spoil their food, and would destroy their stuff, like especially some nasty ass storms. And it happened time and time again. And every time that happened, it gave us hope back and it gave us the upper hand. And we were able to take back Boston, New York, other territories, all kinds of stuff. And it was wild. And it kind of is, yeah, divine intervention that we won that. But yeah, there's a bunch of interesting facts and a bunch of stuff for you guys for 4th of July. There you go. But yeah.